SEC will fail in its lawsuit against the crypto exchange Coinbase, which they slapped on them back in June 2023. Around the same time they went after Binance, and Bitcoin will just explode in its price. So don't forget to subscribe, like and share, and let's start. Bitcoin ETF update. New issuers have been absolutely hovering up coins. An interesting night of reposting ahead, strong flows amidst hot inflation and weakness in equity markets would be mega bullish. Let's see. So, juicy news, CPI data mixed. The core CPI came in hotter, but the headline CPI comes in cooler at 3.1%. Yield curve now pricing is in a 37% chance of cut in May 1st and 63% chance of hold. Bullish for altcoins. Bitcoin ETF inflows rise, outflows low. However, most people are misinterpreting the data. Those are people buying tops. Franklin Templeton files for Ethereum Spot ETF as the cock and Winterpoop announces the crypto index. Avoid both of these companies like the plague you. The Peter Thiel, who shilled Bitcoin at the top and then immediately dumped it behind everyone's backs, has invested $200 million into crypto across various insider projects that we can't get due to being outsiders. Pulse 6 buy and burn in at 342% now, hitting 699 billion bought from the market. Next up we go with, are you ready? Halving triggers supply shock, Bitcoin flips gold at 700k, corporate adoption boom, FOMO grips the masses, game theory enforces legal tender, Bitcoin passes $20 million per coin. It's all just the start of the huge and long story. Bitcoin is trading above the 0.618 level. Historically, Bitcoin has never closed above the 0.618 in any of the previous cycle before at a halving event on a weekly chart. This area has acted as a strong resistance zone and is the last area of problem before reaching the all-time high. The 0.618 level is currently sitting at 48,500, and if Bitcoin closes this weekly candle above it, this will be the first time ever price breaking above the 0.618 level before the halving. If this happens, it will be extremely bullish for Bitcoin. For the first time in its history, Bitcoin has broken the 0.61% 8 retracement before the halving, and the strongest start to a new bull cycle ever. 2 months to go until the halving event, and this cycle will probably play out differently than the others. The same exact pattern for Bitcoin has played itself out in every cycle with a 20-week EMA. Recently, during the pullback to 38,500, price narrowly missed a retest of the moving average as a support at false retest, but a closer look at the cycles shows that every single one has experienced this in an even larger 6 steps pattern. Price breaks above the moving average and goes on its first run of the cycle. Price breaks below the moving average after the completion of the first run. Price breaks above the marking the first true rally. Price creates a false retest of support where it narrowly misses the moving average, and a second run takes place. We are here. Bitcoin finally makes a true retest of the moving average as a support, and according to this measure, maybe the full correction does not need to be as deep while the moving average sits at just 40,000. Sideways price action is typically after the true retest. Next up we go with, Bitcoin will never and from the guy who had a 50,000 price target on Bitcoin for a year and 2018, my gold forecast came a lot closer than your Bitcoin forecast, plus at least gold will eventually hit 5k, Bitcoin will never hit 50,000. This guy said it in 2019, and what do we have now after his prediction? In 2011 we could see $1 a Bitcoin, $1,900 for gold, and now we are at the 50,000 Bitcoin and only $2,000 a gold. So 5,000 didn't happen, and still Bitcoin grew up to 50,000. That's great. Bitcoin has made it hard for me to justify investing in any stocks at the current prices. Everything else seems too risky when compared to Bitcoin, and a perfect form of money with a 68% 5-year compound annual growth rate. In my mind, any potential stock would have to outperform Bitcoin significantly enough to make sense of taking on the risk of owning the stock. Unlike Bitcoin, a share of stock represents partial ownership in an underlying business. Businesses are subject to various risks, such as competitive risks, supply chain risks, legal political risks, and macroeconomic risks, just to name a few. All these risks are constantly looming and can materially damage or completely destroy a business. Comparative risk. Businesses are constantly threatened by the competitors or new entrants into the market who will try to steal their customers or profit margin. Bitcoin does not face threats from the competitors, as the invention of digital scarcity can only happen once. Over 20,000 other cryptos have tried and failed to replace it. Plus, being the largest crypto asset, it has the strongest network effect and liquidity, making it even harder to be replaced by competitors. Supply chain risk. Businesses constantly face risks from their supply chain. A key supplier may go out of business, raise prices, or key supply routes may be disrupted, as we are seeing recently in the Red Sea. And the biggest inputs into the Bitcoin supply chain are electricity and commodity computer hardware, both of which are abundant and easily found throughout the world. The network is also decentralized, so if the supply of electricity or computer hardware is disrupted in any jurisdiction, it does not affect the running of the network. Legal political risks. Businesses are subject to various legal and political risks. For example, a business can get sued for a substantial amount of money, or a government may decide to shut down a business because of COVID. And Bitcoin is decentralized, so it's impossible to take legal actions to harm the network. Laws can only be created that make it harder for citizens within a particular jurisdiction to use Bitcoin, but as we have seen in an example like China, these laws don't work. Fourth, macroeconomic risks, as any recession or depression can materially harm or even bankrupt a business. Bitcoin is not a company, and as such, it is not impacted by the cyclical and often unpredictable economy. The fundamentals of the network do not change whether we find ourselves in depression or a booming economic period. So back to the main coin, Bitcoin, current 5 years CAGR is 68%, and I can see it continuing at the pace for at least 5 more years. But at today's Bitcoin price, the risks of owning stocks make them tough. I ask myself, will that stock outperform Bitcoin over the next 5 years? Possibly if I pick the right one, but probably not. And will it outperform Bitcoin enough to justify taking on the extra risk associated with owning a business? Definitely not. And the next one we go, the Coinbase is going to win Metal Law Man X Hall of Fame, as he's discussing why the Coinbase is going to win and push the price of XRP up to the masses. As basically, what do we have here? So, as his experience, he says on Bitcoin advocate Mark Moss radio show, saw him pick fans in the XRP community when he rejected Moss' idea that Bitcoin is the one true coin and everything else is a shit coin. So that's basically what he says. And what about the predictions? As about Murphy pretty confident this SEC will fail in its lawsuit against the crypto exchange Coinbase, which they slapped on them back in June 2023 around the same time they went after Binance, and Coinbase is going to win their case, as I believe the SEC is completely wrong. He said on his interview. Also, Ledger to simplify crypto purchases with Coinbase integration. Hardware wallet provider Ledger and crypto exchange Coinbase have announced a collaboration to streamline crypto purchases and create an easier way to transfer assets from an exchange into a self-custody wallet. And that's great. So that's all the news we got on the Bitcoin for today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you in the next one, and peace.